Okay, so as you can see on the screen right now, we have the modified WHO score right there in front of you so that you can also understand. What I want you to, the trick that I'm trying to tell you is that only watch WHO 1 and then we'll go to 4. I always do that whenever I was doing even Tanner staging or I was doing, even stages. So the most easy and the most difficult, we should know that. And then I'll tell you how to go about doing the others. So WHO score 1, that means the least risk of all scoring. Okay, in which what all can you think of? The simplest of the simple lesions like pulmonic stenosis, the mild pulmonic stenosis, or PDA, patent ductus arteriosus, again mild, mitral valve prolapse, mild. So the simplistic lesions over here, and successfully repaired simple shunts. And simple shunts are what? VSD, ASD, PDA, they are there in all of them, they are there in the WHO 2 category. So these were repaired defects and these are unrepaired defects. So WHO 1 is the least risk, in which the smallest and the mildest lesions, pulmonic stenosis, even if it's there, you'll not be able to catch it. There will not be much effect unless it's a very rather, stenotic lesion. So pulmonic stenosis mild, PDA mild, or mitral valve prolapse, they'll not cause much effect to the patient. So you hardly talk about, PSPR. So these are the milder lesions, WHO category 1. So obvious the follow-up will also be, once or twice in a local hospital delivery, you can easily take in a local hospital, there will not be much problem. WHO 2 will be somewhere close to WHO 1. Okay, a little more than that. So lesions like, unrepaired ASD, VSD, or, repaired tetralogy of Fallot. Turner syndrome without aortic dilatation. Okay, when you talk about Marfan syndrome without aortic dilatation, that becomes a different category. So Turner syndrome without aortic dilatation is category WHO category 2. Now let's jump to category 4, the high risk lesions. Now you think about the high risk lesions, you already know most of them. See, severe pulmonary arterial hypertension, you've heard it so many times. Okay, then you talk about your left ventricular ejection fraction low, and how low? Less than 30%. High risk lesions, severe MS, severe aortic dilatation. See, whenever you talk about high risk lesions, you talk about mitral stenosis, you talk about aortic dilatation. Over here, they are there in severe so severe MS, severe aortic dilatation, severe aortic stenosis. Aorta is a very important vessel, you know that, right? So aorta, anything that happens, either dilatation, aneurysm, stenosis, it's very important. So WHO category 4, increase the severity. When you're saying mitral stenosis, say severe mitral stenosis. When you're saying aortic dilatation, say severe aortic dilatation. How will you follow up this patient who's got severe symptoms? Obviously, this patient has to be followed up at expert center. See, it's written over there. Monthly, I would say probably weekly, in the pregnancy. But yes, of course, you have to go by what WHO has written. So monthly follow-up in an expert center, delivery has to be there in expert center. So that is WHO 4. Now let's go to WHO 3. That means a little less, but almost equally at risk. So whether I finished all of them or not, we'll just read it through. Pulmonary arterial hypertension was there in WHO 4. Severe systemic ventricular dysfunction, that is ejection fraction less than 30% that I told you. Moderate systemic right ventricular dysfunction. So that means right ventricular dysfunction, or you can say severe, moderate to severe right ventricular dysfunction, because we're talking about a left ventricular dysfunction in which ejection fraction is less than 30%. So obviously, let's talk about the right ventricle as well. So moderate to severe right ventricular dysfunction. Severe mitral stenosis, I told you. Severe aortic dilatation, I told you. Severe aortic stenosis, I told you. Vascular Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, severe coarctation, again very important, coarctation of aorta, and Fontaine operation with any complication. In WHO 3, we'll use these only. Left ventricular ejection fraction, it was less than 30 here. In category 4, it will be 30 to 45% in category 3. Okay, any mechanical valve, if at all it is there, that is category 3. So in this case, you have got 20 to 30% risk of any adverse cardiac event. All right. Then we talk about systemic right ventricle with good or mildly impaired. So mild, right ventricular dysfunction, mild right ventricular dysfunction, left ventricular ejection fraction between 30 to 45%, mechanical valve, Fontaine operation without any complications. Over here we had Fontaine operation with complications. So here Fontaine otherwise well. So you're getting links and you're getting, you know, tricks from category. If you remember category 4, you'll get category 3. And category 4 is very easy to remember. Pulmonary arterial hypertension, apart from that, everything is showing its effects here as well. Moderate mitral stenosis, moderate aortic stenosis, moderate aortic dilatation. Are you getting me? That is how it becomes easy. If you remember the higher category, you can make the smaller category. You getting me? So all those mitral stenosis, aortic dilatation, coarctation of aorta, aortic stenosis, all milder or moderate category will come in WHO 3. And now is the most, you know, difficult to remember, category 2 to 3. It was not there earlier on, but now we do have category 2 to 3. So all those native valve disease, which are not a part of category 4 or category 3, they become, category 4, category 1. So that means they're neither very mild nor very, you know, severe. They all become part of category. That means mild MS, mild aortic stenosis, mild aortic dilatation. You know, we have not spoken about tricuspid regurg. We've not talked about, tricuspid stenosis. So all those things will become a part of category 2 to 3. And here, the left ventricular ejection fraction is less, but not less than 54%. What exactly have they written over here? Yeah, it's more than 54%. Native or tissue valve disease, which are not considered either WHO, not either mild nor very severe, they'll all come under over here. Marfan syndrome without aortic dilatation has come here, like Turner syndrome without aortic dilatation was there in WHO 2. And aorta less than, see, it is dilated, but it is less than 45 millimeters in bicuspid aortic valve. And repaired coarctation. So over here, bi-monthly, you can follow up in expert center. All right. So again, bi-monthly in WHO 3 as well. So this was all about modified WHO. Read again, revise, and try to remember this discussion. I hope so you got some value out of it. Let's get back to it. Again, you revise it at your place by seeing this video, by seeing this chart, and just try to remember. See, in exam, if no examiner remembers that much. All right. I've taught you, and I'll forget everything next day. But still I'll know WHO 4 and WHO 1. And whatever you say in between, you can mess up a little. I won't get to know, but be confident when you're answering. And also remember that you should not make some big blunders. Don't at least put severe MS category in category 2 or 3. Okay? That much at least don't do. Otherwise, like I said, always remember the milder variety. Don't mess up. The very severe variety, do not mess up. In between, very easy to remember. WHO 3 becomes easy after remember WHO 4. WHO 2 becomes easy when you know WHO 1. And 2 to 3 you have to remember separately.